When was the last time that you truly celebrated a win or took a hard look at a lesson without beating yourself up? If you've ever felt like you're dragging last year's baggage into the new year, well, you're not alone. And today, I'll show you how to turn the highs and lows of your past year into your secret weapon for crushing the next year. Stay with me because it's time to leave guilt and shame and doubt and all that stuff that's not helpful behind and fuel up for an unstoppable year ahead. Hey, welcome to my Success Coach podcast. I'm your host, Brian Robinson, and I'm here to help you gain clarity, take focused action, and experience real personal and professional growth. Today's episode is all about reflecting on your wins and lessons from the past year so that you can transform that insight into unstoppable momentum for the new year. So let's go ahead and dive in. This episode is for you if you feel stuck in a cycle of setting new goals, but never acknowledging your progress, or you want to let go of last year's frustrations and failures, but you don't know how to move forward with confidence, or you're ready to turn life's lessons into a narrative for resilience and empowerment so that you can fuel your next chapter. If any of that resonates with you, you're in the right place because by the end of this episode, you will have a clear, simple framework to reflect on last year's wins and lessons. You'll also be able to shift your mindset from self doubt to confidence and resilience. And then, third, you'll walk away with journaling prompts and action steps to create motivation and clarity for the new year. So, as we dive in, I want to start with a quote that I believe sets the tone for today. And this quote is from Winston Churchill. And that quote is: "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts." And man, that right there embodies what I feel like success is. So think about that for a moment. Success and failure aren't permanent, they're stepping stones. And what really defines us is how we carry the lessons forward. Whether last year was your best year or your toughest year, today is all about reclaiming those experiences and using them to fuel your next steps. So let me kind of share a quick story with you. And earlier in December, I sat down to review my own year and I realized something shocking. I had focused so much on what didn't go as planned that I almost missed the wins that were right in front of me. And for example, one of my biggest failures turned out to be an unexpected opportunity, which that failure was really launching my driven coaching program, which you'll learn more about. And I didn't launch it when I wanted to, and I considered that a failure, but really it turned out to be a setup for an unexpected opportunity. And if I tell you about it right now, you won't get it, but you'll get it. You'll understand when the time comes. But here's the twist. I wouldn't have seen it that way if I hadn't paused to reflect. And doing this taught me the power of perspective and intentional reflection. So today, I want to guide you through doing the same. So let's go and get into the first step. And the first step is acknowledge the past. Notice I said acknowledge the past, not focus on the past. Okay. You can't build confidence without acknowledging progress. So take some time to look at the year behind you, not just the highs, but also the challenges. Here's some actionable steps. One is write down 5 wins from the past year, big or small. Number two is reflect on 3 challenges or missteps and what you learned from each of those. Then number three is identify a moment that you're most proud of and why you're most proud of that. So here are 3 journaling prompts related to this first step. What worked well for you last year? What challenges pushed you to grow the most? How can you build on your proudest moment? Once you've acknowledged the past, the next step is to shift your mindset from regret to empowerment. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Step two is mindset shift. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go from lessons to a narrative of empowerment. So every lesson learned is a chapter in your story. So instead of framing missteps as failures, see them as fuel for resilience. Here's some actionable steps to help you with that. One is rewrite one negative experience as an empowering narrative. An example of this will be, and I'm going to use a real life example, is earlier this year, or it might be last year, depending on when you're watching this or listening to this. I had a huge opportunity with a big company. pretty big company, especially for my coaching programs. And we went through talks and it went really well, but they didn't hire me. So they didn't hire me to come in and coach them. And instead of thinking of that as maybe I wasn't a good enough coach for them, or maybe I didn't say the right things, or maybe I wasn't wearing the right things, or maybe I'm just I don't know, whatever I could come up with that could be negative, and maybe some of those things are true, but what I did is I looked at it, I looked at the experience, and what I took from it is how I prepared for that moment and how the conversation went. And what I'm doing, since learning that they didn't wanna go forward with me, right? And then I took those same experiences, those same things, and I went and talked to another pretty big organization, and they ended up hiring me. So I actually had 2 more organizations like that did hire me. So what it taught me was that I didn't look at just the negative experiences, but I looked at the the other parts of it, things that I could use to propel me forward, and I kept going. And you can do the same. So just reiterate on that. Number 1 is rewrite one negative experience as an empowering narrative. 2 is journal about how you overcome or overcame a challenge and what strengths you developed. Number 3 is create a mantra for the new year based on the lessons that you've learned. An example of this might be, I grow stronger with every challenge. So that's a basic example, but it could work for you, right? Here are 3 journaling prompts related to this second step. So prompt number 1 is, how can you reframe a setback as a stepping stone? 2 is, what strengths did you uncover in the process? What new perspective will carry you forward? Now that you've shifted your mindset, it's time to channel those insights into focused action for the year ahead. Which brings me to the third and final step, which is channeling insights into motivation. So, insights without action won't take you far. So, let's put what you've learned so far to work for the new year. So, some actionable steps that can help you with this is set 3 specific actionable goals for the new year based on last year's reflections. Now, I will say this before you do this, this really works well if you already have a vision for what you want in the new year, right? Once you have the vision, setting the goals that align and propels you within that vision, that works really well. So I do want to let you know that these goals, it works, but it works better if you have a vision. Number 2 is schedule a 30-minute weekly momentum check-in to track your progress. Super important to make sure you inspect what you expect, right? And 3 is use journaling prompts from today's episode to revisit your insights monthly. So with these 3 action steps, then and the 3 journaling prompts I give you for each one, revisit those. Use those every single month, or use them more often than that if you need to. Here are 3 journaling prompts related to this third step. What's one goal you can tackle this week to start building momentum? How will you keep your lessons top of mind throughout the year? What will success look and feel like for you this year? Well, here's what we covered so far today. First, you learn how to acknowledge the past by celebrating wins and extracting lessons. Then you shifted your mindset to transform those lessons into an empowering narrative. And finally, you took action by setting clear, reflective goals to fuel your momentum for the new year. It's important for you to remember that success isn't about perfection, it's about progress. And if you're anything like me, you want your progress to move in a way that makes you more excellent as you show up. If today's episode resonated with you, please click the link in the description to coach with me one on one. Or you can also join the Unstoppable email community for weekly insights, tips, and inspiration. And don't forget to download the life plan checklist for quick, structured steps and it's a checklist, so it'll help you stay on track. And it's free, and the link is in the description. And if you're ready to dive deeper, you can check out my Plan Your Life in 60 Minutes digital course for step-by-step strategy to align your life with your goals. And stay tuned because I mentioned it a little bit. My Driven group coaching program is going to be opening soon. I'm going to be offering the ultimate accountability and transformation experience. I didn't have one last year, but the year before, I had one and it was a success. This one is going to be even better. Learned a lot from that first one from the year before, and this one's going to be better. Until next time, keep finding your path.